to talk about what just got handed out, please make sure you got today's lesson title on top. Your notes open, ready to go. The I can statement copied on top. Thank you, Lawrence, for sitting. Let me get some statements out. Lawrence, thank you for sitting with both your feet underneath your desk. Amaya, thank you for getting those things which you need copied down right away. Sydney, I like how I can see your eyes moving up and down. Taylor, I'm going to give you payment for helping me out. Right. Sarah, thank you for sitting with your feet underneath your desk. And Leia, that's going to be a deduction because your leg is out. Please make sure it's in. All right, before we get to this, please take out that piece of paper that Braylon handed out. It's a very simple rubric, but this is the rubric I'll be grading your notebooks on. Because as soon as you guys come back from break, you will have a test, which means I will collect your notebooks, which means you will get graded for your notebooks. I'm going to be going through them pretty quickly, seeing if you have what is required. Please make sure that you use this over the break to check your notebook and make sure you have everything you need. Taylor. Sorry, what? So then everything should be in one notebook for me to collect. You should have all the lessons from, let's see, I think it's 61 to 70. Like we came back, no, 60 to, yes, because we came back in 60. So please make sure you get that figured out. Please use the rubric to help you out. Please right now put that somewhere in your notebook or math book so you do not lose it. Now, back to today's lesson. Today's lesson is called Proper Form of Scientific Notation. We're on lesson 69 because God is good. We made it this far in the book. The I can statement for today is I can express the proper scientific notation. Class, say with me. I can express the proper scientific notation. All right, let's get rolling in 3. Make sure your hands are ready 2. Your pencil's in your hand in 1. Awesome. Let's get going. We're going to have 2 examples for today. Please make sure that you're following really, really closely because it can get really, really confusing. But first of all, you should have example 1 on the top. I want you to copy down the question since it's so short and you need to know. With a strong silent hand, who can remind the class what the I can statement is? What are we looking today in the I can statement? Cherish?
I can express proper scientific notation.
Right, we're talking about proper. Right now, that looks fine, right? It looks like scientific notation, but it's not proper. That's not how it should look. It's okay. It looks like it's almost there, but it's not quite right. That's like you showing up to school without your belt. You got your polo, you got your pants, you have the right shoes, and you still don't have your belt. You're so close to being exactly what you need for school, but still not there all the way. That's what you see with this 25 times 10 to the negative 5th. We're close, but we're just not right. Almost there. So when you have scientific notation, and when you talk about proper scientific notation, there should only be one whole number, and then everything else behind it should be a decimal. All right, so first of all, rewrite the 25 times 10 to the negative 5th. Everything in blue will involve the 25. All right, so this would be like your step 2. Or this would be, yeah. So when you do this, you're going to have to move the decimal so that there's only one whole number in front. So here's the decimal point right now. It's invisible. You never have it there because why would you? It's just another spot on your paper that takes up more lead. But right now you need to know where it is. You're going to take it, you're going to move it once over to here so that you have a new value of 2.5. 5 times, this is going to stay the same, but right now we're going to write 2 times 10 over 1 right now because we moved it over once. So now you have a new scientific notation. Taylor? Where you get 10 over 1? How many times did you move it over here? Right, so you have to move it over once, and then it creates a new one. But we also still have the old one. So what do you think we're going to do? Because we got 10 over 10 to the negative fifth, and we have 10 to the power of 1. Lawrence? You know what? Yeah. Because why would you subtract negative 5 and 1? Remember those 3 rules we talked about? Braylon?
Because the -5 is greater than 1.
Close. What I was looking for is because they have opposite values, right? One's negative, one's positive. So you're going to subtract. Now, Braylon, what would your answer be? Would it be negative or positive?
Negative.
Why?
Because it's greater than 1.
I'm going to give you a payment for remembering all of that. All right. So now we're going to have to. Did I drop something? No, I didn't drop something. We're going to rewrite. Go a different color. 2.5 times 10. We took 5 minus 1, which gives you strong silent hand. Work on that patience. Jaslyn? 4. And like Braylon said, since 5 is the greater value and 5 is negative, your answer would be negative. So your new exponent for this would be negative 4. And that would be your answer. Lawrence?
So we're not going to add them up.
Nope, we already did. So if you want to think of it this way, so 2.5 doesn't change at all, just goes straight down. The times go straight down, the 10 goes straight down. The only thing we're worried about is the exponents, right? Because we had to move the decimal over to here. Because if you look at what the book has as well, so you start off with, first we write 25 in scientific notation. Scientific notation, like I said, can only have one whole number. It has to have the 2.5. It cannot be 25. It cannot be 0.2. It cannot be 0.12345. It cannot be 12345. It has to be 1.2345. Capiche?
Wow.
So since you have to move it once, you have to add that 10. Then you get the negative 5. Now you have to, but you can only have one of the 10s. So then we combine the powers of 10 by remembering that 1 place to the right of 5 and 5 places to the left equals 4 places to the left. 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4th. Any questions? Before we go to example 2, what I want you to do is, just to make sure that you understand what's going on, I want you, in the same example, I want you to write the words, what if? Okay? Same problem, 25 times 10, but just to the 5th. All right, so I know what some of you are thinking, but like, what if that negative 5 was just a normal 5? Right, so make sure you got clear division. So the top one is when it's negative, the bottom one when it's positive. So that when you do your exit ticket, you can say, oh, this one's positive, this one's negative. Capiche?
Wow.
All right. So what happens if instead it's positive 5 instead of negative 5? Please make sure you got the what if. I like how Braylon did it. Make sure you write the words what if. This is not example 2, but this is a part of example 1. What if it was positive? So Braylon, what would you do first?
Would you make it 2.5?
You would make it 2.5. Same reason as before, you gotta move it over once. Like I said before, scientific notation, the number in front has to be just a single whole number. It's gotta be 2.5. It cannot be 25, it cannot be 0.25, it has to be 2.5. And since we moved it over once, let's show it how the book showed it. 10 over 1 times 10 over 5. Now, thinking back to that order of operations with positive and negative numbers, since they're both the same value, what do you do? Lawrence? No, they're the same value. That's for if they're the opposite value. So if that's for the opposite value, what would you do if they have the same value, Natalie? If subtracting is if they have opposite values, if they have the same value, then you just, what's the opposite of subtraction? You add them. So you're going to take 1 plus 5, rewrite it down here, 2.5 times 10. What is 5 plus 1, class?
6.
Correct. So that means it's 2.5 times 10 to the 6th power. That is the reverse. That's the other what if, because I know some of you are probably thinking, what if that -5 was just a positive? Now you have 2 examples of that in your notes. So on your exit ticket, if you're like, well, now the exponent is positive, what do I do? If the exponent is negative, what do I do? You should have those in your notes. I'm going to erase it in 3, 2, 1. Now back to the slides. Example 2. This is the other form that we want to make sure that you understand. Like you really have to understand. Because now it's 0.25. And like I said, what in scientific notation, what has to be in front? I've said this probably a couple times now. Zaria? Yeah, just one whole number. It cannot be 25. It cannot be 0.25. It cannot be 123.23. It has to be 1.232. It's got to be 1 point something. Bish? So what would you do with this 0.25? What's the first thing you got to do inside your head? What's the first thing you got to do? Natalie? You don't know? Not put in quotations.
No.
I'm going to call him Taylor. Yeah, you got to move over the decimal. So now you got 0.25 times 10 to the 4th. You move it over. Where's the blue? Move it over once. Now you got 2.5. Let's do it like the book does it. Times 10. Now here's the tricky part. Is your new exponent, because you moved it over once, is it going to be positive or negative? Kind of think of it. This is kind of the opposite of what we did. So, Uriah, it's going to be negative because we're going to the, if I'm looking at the board, it's going to our right. If it's going to your right, it's always negative. If the decimal is moving to the left, like we did in the last 2, for the example 1 and the what if, it's going to be positive. But since we're going to the right, it's going to be negative times 10 to the 4th. Class, when I say right, you say negative. Right.
Negative.
Right.
Negative.
Right.
Negative.
Right.
Negative.
When I say left, you say positive. Left.
Positive.
Left.
Positive.
Left.
Positive.
Left.
Positive.
Right.
Negative.
Left.
Positive.
Right.
Negative.
Left.
Positive.
Great. Make sure you keep that in mind. That's the whole lesson. Your exit ticket will go super easy if you remember that. All right, so now we have to rewrite it again. We got 2.5 times 10. Class, you can remind everybody, nice and loud, because you're all wearing masks, since they have opposite values, one's negative, one's positive, do you add or subtract? London. A little bit louder. Correct, you subtract. So you're gonna minus. So 4 is the larger value, put it on top, put the 1 underneath, subtract. William, what do you get? Ooh, you got the 3 right. But remember, we put the 4 on top, and the 4 over here is a positive, which means it's a greater value, so your answer is going to be positive. So it's 2.5 times 10 to the third. All right. I'm waiting for everyone's hands to stop moving. Leia, I'm gonna have you stand for the rest of the class because you're just not sitting right in your chair, and this is your second time talking to. So push your chair in. Maya, you're gonna have to be just looking around, okay? Now, other side, because I want to make sure you understand this clearly, because this is your entire exit ticket. I want you guys all get good grades on it. On example 2, again, write what if. Question mark. What if we got 0.25 times 10 to the negative 4th? All right? Because I know some of your heads like, what do you do if it's negative exponent originally? Taylor, first step. You got to move the decimal 1 time. Now, keep in mind, do you move the decimal always 1 time? Well, what if you have, what is it, 0? For this one, I guess, yeah, you would always, can't think of a number that would do that right off the bat. But what if you have 233? Would you move the decimal just 1 time up here? No, Jasmine's going no, because you have to get it all the way 1, 2 up here. So don't think that you're moving the decimal only once. You're moving it a couple times if you have to. Just right now, you don't have to. Where was I? Leia, take a deep breath in for 4 seconds, let it out for 4 seconds, then you may come back when you're ready. Times 10. Class, do you remember what we said since we moved it to the right? It's going to be positive or negative 1? Since we moved it to the right. Jaslyn? It's going to be negative 1 times negative 4. And I can write down this right away. 2.5 times 10. Sorry, I forgot to change colors, but you will survive. Since they have the same value, they're both negative, what do you do? What do you do if they have the same value? They're both negative. Only this side and Taylor knows. If they're the same value, they're both negative, do you add or subtract? Sydney? You don't subtract. They have the same value. Destiny? You add them because they have both negative numbers. So I'm not even going to put the negative symbols. I'm going to put 4 plus 1. What's class 4 plus 1?
5.
Now, since they're both negative, you just put a negative in front. And you put it over here above the 5 as the the 10 as the exponent. You have your answer. Capiche? Any questions? So right now we went through what if it's positive, what if it's negative. We went through how if the decimal is behind the 2 whole numbers, and if the decimal is in front with a 0 in the front. Any questions on those? If you can confidently say, I can express the proper scientific notation, put your pencil above your head and put your notebook to the side. Remember, you got your notes. The top of the exit ticket has it. Your math book has it as well. And if all those fail, raise your hand. There are 9 problems, but I think you can all do them. Taylor, was that you? Or Jasmine, was that you? Whoever just talked. Oh, it was Leo. Once I say go, you'll have about 8 minutes to get this done. You have 9 problems. Remember those steps. And remember, by raising your pencil above your head, you say you can confidently express the proper scientific notation. Go. Oh, thank you.
For those who are virtual, I believe the chat is still open, so you may ask your questions in there, and I'll be back on.
Good catch. Braylon, I'm gonna give you a payment for bringing this up. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Where's Braylon's name? There he is. All right, there's one thing I want to make sure that you guys understand because it popped up there. I did not think about it until right now. So what was it, 374? It's just 374. This one's a little bit simpler. Taylor? Right? So Braylon, all you're doing, and everybody else, all you're doing is you're moving the decimal over a couple times, just like normal. It's just saying put it in scientific notation, but all you have is a whole number. And since you moved it to the left, is it positive or negative? Destiny? It's positive 2 because I got 1, 2 bumps, positive 2. So that would be your answer for number 5. And then the way number 7 is, same thing, it's just you got a decimal in front. Got 5 minutes. Remember, at this time, make sure your voice is always completely off so that you can get evens for tomorrow. Perfect. Million lessons. More lessons. I have 1,000,001 lessons. Oh, thank you, Lauren. It's always a competition, Lauren. Good job. As I'm walking around, it looks like everybody understands that there needs to be one whole number in front of the decimal for scientific notation. Good job. So it should be something like 1 point something, 2 point something. And you should be working on it. You should achieve this result. This is wrong. Remember, it's gotta be 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something. That's all they is first from that 2 numbers. Exactly what we do. Remember, all you gotta do is be looking for how to move that decimal. Number 9. Okay, so what does this have to turn into? Remember, there will be 1 in front, right? No. First with this. Don't look at this. How do you move? Where do you move the decimal? You gotta rewrite the whole thing. The decimal's not back to the decimal right there. Why would you remember what we talked about? You have that 1 number in front. So now you just made 3 numbers. Go the other way. So now it's going to rewrite it. 1 point. And how many times did you move it over? Did you move it left or right? Huh? Okay, so that means the answer here is positive or negative. Okay, go from there. Braylon, can you do me a favor, bud, real quick, while I go get Destiny's?
Mhm.
Can you mark these people down for me? They're all right there. Little screen right there.
Mark them like what?
Put a yes if they're there, or yes, no if they're not.
Real.
So this reminds me, I need to stop.